Hey, 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 happy Saturday, Soul Tribe. It is Sarah Jane with day 6 of the 28-day conscious active appreciation challenge. And today I want to talk about appreciation of touch. So how we can deepen into appreciating being touched, being in touch with our environment, touching our animals, touching ourselves, reaching out and touching a stranger, and how we can do that in a way that isn't, hi Anjana, hi Christina, that isn't needy or codependent. And it is, it's really funny because it's one of those things that we don't want to ask for, because we're sort of rewarded in a society that celebrates independence and that we don't need anybody. And we all know, science has proved that when children are left in orphanages or are touch starved, or any mammal is touch starved, how we die because we need, hi Victor, nice to see you. How we die. So this importance of appreciating, conscious appreciation of being able to ask for what we need. And also, just as everyone's sort of jumping in here on this lazy Saturday afternoon, I want to just ask you, how have you found the active appreciation over the last 6 days? What have you noticed as you've sort of started to let go of your stories and really deepen into who you are without them, and knowing that you're full and whole and complete and perfect exactly the way that you are? So let me know, type in the comments below, let me know how you found it when you started to look at doubt as not you but the one that's doubting, and that it's just another way to keep you attached to your story. And let me know what's going on, because I want, the reason I'm doing 28 days of this is because I want you to deepen into appreciating and loving whatever arises, because I don't know if you've noticed, but everything just becomes lighter and more amazing and more flow, I guess, just easy, effortless flow. And as you do this longer and longer, you're going to start to realize that there's just this energy that's always available. That aligns with nature. It's the energy that aligns with everything, and it's just this beautiful, creative, expansive space of breath. And just picture it, that it's all available to you. This is the effortless abundance of sufficiency. You can connect to it at any time. And when you just sort of close your eyes, you don't just are able to connect to the energy, you become the energy, right? You're in the stream of consciousness and flow. And this is what I love about intentional meditation, is that when you are in that space of being, you're out of your head. And this is why so many people struggle with meditation, because they're not able to be with the chatter as part of the meditation. And all your brain is doing is it wants to go into fight flight, and it's trying to figure everything out. So it's always in the past, it's always in the future, and it's just stressing all the time. And it's totally unaware of this sort of universal, natural, true nature of you that is you, and it's coming through you all the time. And it's just so much more than what we are when we're living in the mind that's just blocking everything out, and it can't help but feel the energy of what it is. And that's where the insanity and the crazy comes too. So, as you sit and you try and still your mind, it's because the mind wants you to identify with suffering, and you think you're your mind. So you're just thinking that you are the pain, and you can't come up for air because you think you're falling apart, when actually it's just the story of you that's falling apart. And under that, when you let that go, there's just this place of love, where you can love people for absolutely no reason. You can reach out and touch somebody because that's what we're supposed to do, be in touch with each other. Hi Martina. So the mind doesn't have to be so overly involved in it, because you start to see the world the way that love sees it, which is effortless and abundance and sufficient and enough, just as you are enough. So you start to realize that, if I think about all the times I fell apart in the past, it was really because there was something ready to integrate and shift. So when you start to see the craziness that's going as an external construct of what's going on around you, then you can just be in this place of loving allowance and appreciating that you're connected to that on some level, and not have to interfere or project your stuff on them so that they can fall apart however they need to fall apart in their own way. And when you look at humanity and you look at this constant growth and connection and expansion and a creative energy that we're wanting and that we're all connected in, that becomes the truth of you. And this is where life becomes beautiful. When your goal, and I don't even like the word goal, but when you choose that target of appreciating, active appreciation of just loving more of what's inside, then you can stop chasing everything from the outside, and you can just bring that love from everything outside as a byproduct of going deep down and loving yourself. And then you don't have to go into that neediness of I need to get something outside of me, whether that's your parents or your business or your love relationship or an addiction. Just scrolling through Facebook, you're trying to get love, or having a drink, you're trying to get a connection to yourself as love. And when you stop going, I need to find it outside, and you actually catch yourself in the doubt or in the fear, and you go inward, you become your main priority. And then you don't need other things to fill you up, including money. And I think Osho said something similar like that, but that, like if a couple want to get together, they want to get together for the other one to give them something that they don't seem to think they have. And that's kind of like having two broke people trying to get money out of the other person, and neither one of them has what the money to give. So both of them are just so scared they're going to lose the other person, because they see the other person as a source of their money, but they don't get that they're actually both totally broke and they don't have any money. And I know that's a stupid example, but it's kind of like going into the bank and depositing and depositing and depositing love into yourself, which is this appreciation of touching yourself today. Because when you have that, you're not dependent on other people. Just like if you have your own money, you're not dependent on other people for money, because they're no longer the source of you feeling better. Okay? And this is where, if you're a people pleaser, you're going to get the takers. Instead of looking at, I have my own power, then those people can't take that from you. And the same goes for governments and institutions and everything else. So the biggest way to start shifting this out of codependency and addiction is just to tap into the love that's always available, that you already are. And then you'll be totally free. Get in touch with yourself, because that's what I'm expanding into and deepening into my practice, is that the chaos outside can start to shift and change when I am no longer needing anything from anyone, including the external stuff. Right? And this is how you lose your addictions, because you have everything that you need in your heart. So you don't need to get anything from anybody else. And you're going to start to see that you have a lot more time, because maybe you're not hanging out with people in a codependent way to make you feel something or fill you up, because you're full already. So you're going to be much more relaxed and connected. And, there's times when we all slip. I go into that place of wishing things were a certain way at times, and that's when I have to go down deep and just get still with the part that feels like it's not enough, and connect to that, because our mind's just shielding us from that love, and it's trying to get love in a physical way outside of you, but not in what you are. So I hope that makes sense, but I really just wanted to keep this short today, and to just say, connect to what you are, touch yourself in those deep, dark places that you perhaps have neglected for a little bit, and look at what it is that you need, not from a place of lack, but from a place of honor and love and allowance, and allowing yourself to have that, if that makes sense. Give me some love, give me some hearts if this is resonating with you, because I really, really want you to get that sometimes the touch, the touch that we don't appreciate is touching nature, going for a walk, just being able to, to give yourself the space to sit, and also just to be in the space of touching is connection, right? That's what makes us thrive. We're mammals. We're supposed to touch each other, and touch your animals too. You know, they're so good at reminding us to stay present. And a side note on this one too, which I was having thinking about earlier and having a giggle, and it's so funny because I had all 4 of my cats, you know, sitting around here just now, and of course now that I want to share this with you about how much they allow us to connect and just be without asking for anything back. Dogs will take and take and take because that's what they do, and cats are kind of like, I'll have it on my terms, and I want you to just be more like a cat or a big lion today. Thank you for the love, Julie. Be more like a cat today, and remember too, you know, the importance of touch from a health point of view, of being wholly connected with yourself, is that I really want to invite you to touch yourselves, touch your animals. The fastest, quickest way to get back to love, and also to know if there is something that you need to pay attention to in your body, is touch yourself. And I don't think we touch ourselves enough. You know, it's sort of like, it's always rushed if you have children or you're in a hurry. You know, you're not appreciating the time to get in touch with lying in a bath and just allowing your body to hydrate through your skin, or when you're putting coconut oil, because I don't like the lotions, but if you're putting lotion on your body, to really allow yourself to appreciate your skin and appreciate your body and love it, right? Give it some loving touch. And you know, the cats today, the random thought that I had was, as women, and men should be doing this too with their scrotums, but we're told to, you know, do breast exams, touch our breasts and feel for any lumps and bumps and everything else, and yet we don't practice that, right? Because we are so out of touch with our bodies. And I want you to do this with your animals. If you have animals, instead of just next time just stroking your cat, and of course they love it and the dogs love it. I had 2 crazy Labrador clients come this afternoon, and they were just, you know, I was able to work on their body and adjust their spines and work on what needed to be worked on. With the one had a serious intolerance going on, allergies and itchy skin, and they're so giving in leaning in to the physical touch, which makes my job a whole lot easier, because I was able to lift his hind legs and adjust his spine and do a little bit of chiropractic. But at the same time, if you're not touching your animals from a place of active appreciation for, I have hands and I have the sense of touch to be able to feel if there are any lumps or bumps or anything weird going on. And my little rescue princess is really smart at showing me that, because she has a hernia. Her mother obviously chewed off the umbilical cord a little bit too tight, and she has this little hernia, and sometimes she has issues with her digestion. So I know that when we're stroking and loving and there's sensitivity there, because I'm increasing the pressure of touch on her body, I know that I need to do some balancing and I need to do some work and maybe tweak her diet a little bit. And some days she'll actually even roll over on her stomach so that I can really get into the psoas muscle and underneath it to really alleviate some of the pressure that's built up on this scar tissue from this hernia. So that's my message today, is spend some time loving yourself. I love that my friends like Regina Thomas Hauser is talking, and she's just written a new book called Reclamation, or Reclaiming the Pussy. And again, it's just like, let's talk about things the way that they are. And I always say to my clients, if you're not touching yourself, if you're not masturbating on a regular basis, how can you expect anybody else to allow in to give you sexual pleasure? It's part of our nature. And if you're a dolphin, you know that dolphins, other than humans, are the only mammals that mate have sex for the pleasure of it. So masturbate more. Maybe give yourself some time to just have some sensual touch, or a beautiful massage, but from yourself. Okay, because that way, if we're filling ourselves up and we are taking care of ourselves and our sexual pleasure, as well as our basic essential needs to feel our body, just on the physical, like loving it for carrying you to journeys, to adventures, how can you expect anybody to bring in anything greater than the contribution that you're giving yourself? So similar to what we talked about money yesterday. And I promise you that when you start to get more in touch with your body, we've talked all week about feelings and where we feel that in our bodies. The body needs to have that somatic experience of being touched, of being loved into thriving. So I want you to actively appreciate one thing you're going to do for your physical body today. Maybe that's a beautiful cup of bone broth. Maybe that is a walk in nature. Maybe that is booking yourself a massage. Or maybe that is also in the gifting and the receiving of giving back to your animals. And when you're doing so, be aware, have the intention of, are you okay, body? And check. If we're not touching ourselves, how do we know when our bodies are showing us there's something wrong? And this is why so often people say to me, like the horse that passed, Pegasus, that passed on the weekend, animals are very good at masking pain. They're very good at hiding physical symptoms because they don't want us to be concerned or worried about them. So they're very good at masking symptoms, and this is one of the best ways that you can support them in thriving and in being healthy. There go the rosy ringed parakeets flying home for the night. You can't know what's going on with them if you're not touching them, and the same goes for your body. So with Pegasus, the horse, I had seen him a couple of weeks before, and I had checked his body, and I had given him some love, and he gave me love back. But he had cancer in the lymph nodes, and I remember Karen saying to me that she couldn't understand why the grooms had not picked up that he had these very extended bumps in his lymph nodes on his neck. Sometimes our body will hide it from us, okay, especially animals. So get in touch with your body, please, this weekend. Give yourself some loving touch. Appreciate the sense of touch as well as the subtle sense of touch, and just love yourself more, and know that I love you. And I will go back and read your comments because I haven't been reading them. And if you have any questions about how you can go deeper into this work, into the mindfulness change process, or how I can support you getting more in touch with your life or your body or your relationship issues, know that all you have to do is book a call. And if you like this video today, share the 28-day challenge with your friends. I really appreciate it. This is the way that we get to expand love in the world. When we're together and we're doing work like this is how we transmute the dark into the light, and we come back to love. We return to love. So the more you share this, the more that you comment, the more hearts and love and thumbs and likes that you share on posts like this, the further we can go. We can go so much further together than apart. So love your body like a cat, and also appreciate that there are going to be times when you don't want to be touched from other people, and that's okay. So honor when other people don't want to be touched, and reach out and touch yourself first so that you can be the invitation for people to want to touch you and give you their money and their time and their presence, and your animals will feel that too. Okay, when you're pushing energy from a needy place, cats are the first ones to go, ooh, I don't want to be around that. So follow the cues of your body. Lean in if your body wants to not be touched, and lean into where it does. And let me know one wonderful, amazing act of appreciation you're going to take for your body today. And I'll see you back here tomorrow. And also, last thing, because I'm done and now I'm just waffling, but let me know what you want to hear on this 28 days, because I just go off the cues of the comments, and I so appreciate you all playing with me. I so appreciate you being on this journey leading up to the 28th of May, which is my rebirthing day. Yay, another 365 days around the sun. That is some act of appreciation that I'm doing, because I'm not supposed to be here. 15 years ago, when they diagnosed me with a brain tumor that was inoperable, they told me that was it, and I celebrate every day, and I want you to too. Don't wait until something big happens like that before you start paying attention and actively appreciating your body. Please don't do that. You don't have to. You're not your story, and even though we can't change what's happened in the past, we can transform through it by telling a story from a place of empowerment and self-love. All right, so post, comment, question, tell me what you want to hear, and go do something beautiful with your body today and with your animals. I'm going to go and brush the knots out of my little Winston because he's asking for a little bit of attention. All right, love you guys. Bye. Mwah.